What's up guys, Sean Nalawani here, SeanNal.com, BodyTransformationTruth.com, and today I wanted to answer a question that I do receive pretty often but that I've never addressed in a video, which is the topic of bodybuilding stretch marks and how to get rid of them. So stretch marks are basically just a result of your skin being stretched and expanded, and that causes the connective fibers to break down and tear, and you end up with lines across your skin which usually start out as dark red or purple, and then they gradually fade to a silver or a white color over time. Not everybody gets them, but a pretty high percentage of serious lifters will end up with bodybuilding stretch marks to some degree as they gain more and more muscle. And I personally have them as well. I have them all over my body actually, on my shoulders, my biceps, my chest, my lats, even on my glutes and my quads as well. So on to the real question here, which is there any way to get rid of stretch marks or any way to prevent them? The most common recommendation that you'll hear is to use different creams and lotions on your skin, so things like cocoa butter, almond oil, silicone gel, or even olive oil. There's a lot of people out there selling a lot of different products for this. But the honest truth is that there really is no good evidence to show that any of these creams or lotions work for reducing stretch marks, at least not to a significant degree. There is some research showing that actively massaging certain creams into the area can have a minor effect, but whether that's from the actual cream or from the massaging is not clear, and most studies out there don't show any real benefit, so I personally would not recommend that you go out and spend your money on this stuff, because it's most likely not going to do much of anything for you. Keep in mind that stretch marks are not just a simple surface issue on top of your skin. They're actually happening underneath in the middle layer, and they're essentially scars where the skin has actually torn apart. So to just think that you can rub a cream or a lotion on top of your skin and have them just disappear, it's really not realistic. Now, if your stretch marks really bother you and you're serious about reducing them, then the only way to treat them in a more reliable way is through an actual hands-on procedure done with a dermatologist. So things like microdermabrasion, laser therapy, or IPL. These are the only methods that have actual concrete research behind them showing real benefits, and that's basically the route that you're going to have to go if you're really serious about this. However, even then, keep in mind that depending on how severe your stretch marks are, even those treatments don't guarantee anything. They can probably reduce the appearance of your stretch marks, but not eliminate them altogether. And on top of that, they're usually pretty expensive. They're going to require multiple treatments. So you're going to need to have the money, you're going to need to have the time, and to really dislike your stretch marks enough to bother going that route. I personally don't think that bodybuilding stretch marks are that big of a deal. I actually kind of like them in a certain way because I find that they sort of serve as a reminder for the hard work that I've put in over the years. So I've never even bothered to try to get rid of mine. And also keep in mind that stretch marks do fade over time in most cases, so time is going to be your best treatment for them. The only final piece of practical advice that I'd give in terms of stretch mark prevention is that if you're bulking, this is just another reason why I recommend going the clean bulking route rather than the dirty bulking route. And that just means that you should focus on maintaining a smaller calorie surplus and making gradual muscle gains over time while keeping fat gains at a minimum. I covered this in more detail in a previous blog post, which I'll link in the description box. But aside from all the reasons that I talked about in that post, gaining weight at an excessive pace where you're putting on muscle but also a bunch of fat as well, that's also going to increase your chances for developing stretch marks. So when it comes to the issue of bodybuilding stretch marks, there's really not much to it. Lotions and creams are probably not going to do much of anything for you, and if you're really serious about this and you have the time and the money, then just go see a dermatologist. Aside from that, try not to worry about it because it's really not a big deal, and they will fade over time anyway. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you found this helpful. You can get instant access to the Body Transformation Blueprint, where I outline all the steps to gaining muscle and losing fat effectively, including workouts, meal plans, and supplement guides, by clicking here or by heading over to BodyTransformationTruth.com using the link in the description. You can also check out my official blog over at SeanNal.com, and you can follow me on social media here if you aren't already. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.